So, hey guys, listen, hey, it's Josh. Welcome back to Accelerated Investor. And today I want to talk about the difference between your passion, happiness, and joy. Here we go.
Welcome to the Accelerated Investor Podcast with Josh Cantwell. If you're looking to retire early with forever passive income, you're in the right place. This podcast is the go-to destination for real estate investors, both active and passive, and multifamily apartment investors, both new, intermediate, and advanced. Now, sit back, listen, learn, and accelerate your business, your life, and your investing with the Accelerated Investor Podcast.
So guys, listen, I've been thinking, so many people on YouTube and in these TED Talks that I watch, and so many different people that are invited to speak on the popular news, seems like they're really successful. And they're either successful or they're really successful and they're billionaires, or they happen to be on TV. Maybe they're a TV personality. They're on Shark Tank or something like that. And they all seem to talk about these different concepts of happiness, joy, and your passion. And what I think a lot of people say is, hey, follow your passion, follow your passion. And I think that's such a crock of shit, frankly. I think that's just absolute garbage advice, your passion, okay? Because, so let's talk about passion first, and then we'll get into happiness, and then we'll really get into joy. When I think about my journey over the last 25 years as an entrepreneur, what I primarily think about is hard work. What I primarily think about is that I look at the skill that I've built, or the skills that I have, the things that I'm good at. And when I look at advice that I can give other investors, other active investors, passive investors, other new entrepreneurs and experienced entrepreneurs, I would never say follow your passion. What I would really say is find out what you're good at. And then when you know what you're good at and you like that because you're good at it, because it gives you a sense of pleasure, it gives you a sense of confidence because you're already good at it. All of us are naturally gifted at things. We're naturally good at things. My son is pretty good at basketball and football. He's in 5th grade. He's not a pro NFL player, but he's also not really good at music. He's also not really like a super fast reader. So he already has some skill around something that he's already good at. So I would ask you a question. If you're in real estate or you're in entrepreneurship and you're looking to build a business, what are you good at? Right? So before we talk about passion, happiness, and joy, my first thing I would ask you to evaluate, the first thing I would ask you to really think through is, what are you good at already? Okay? Because for me, when I look at what I'm good at, I'm not good at construction. I'm not good at really asset management, property management, right? I was never really good at knowing how things get fixed, right? Rehab costs, rehab labor costs, rehab material costs. But I've always been super good at understanding money. I've always been super interested and good at financial planning and looking at different investment strategies, investment options. I've always been interested in reading books around investments and rates of return, internal rates of return, annualized rate of return, compound interest. I'm already good at that. I was good at that in high school. I was good at math in grade school. And so when I think back about success, the first thing that I think about is not follow your passion, right? My passion is vacationing in Cancun, in Florida, in Europe, South America. My passion is traveling to Sedona, Arizona. That's what I'm passionate for. Right? But what am I good at? What are you good at? Okay, think about it. Take some time right now. Go ahead, pause this recording if you need to. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down. What do you think you're good at? Because here's what I would say. Success is not really about your passion, happiness, or joy. It's about taking something that you're already good at, your superpower, right? And making it, if you're just good at it, making it your superpower. See, for me, being around money, being around finance, being around investors, being around compound interest, being around recruiting capital and underwriting deals, which has a lot to do with the financials, the P&Ls, and the balance sheets, I like that. Like, I'm good at that. And so if I want to be great at it, now I just need to do it more often. I need to turn the screws. I need to get better and better and better and better and better at it. And so I go from good to great, and then from great to elite. But I start with something that I'm already good at. Okay. And then instead of making it a passion, like raising capital is not a passion for me. Like, I don't wake up and be like, oh my God, I can't wait to raise money, or I can't wait to underwrite a deal. I don't say that. That's not naturally what's in my head when I wake up. It doesn't work that way. Okay. And so when I think about that type of behavior, a passion would be like helping underprivileged kids. A passion would be like teaching people how to defend themselves through, jujitsu, or maybe, how to properly own and store a firearm. Right? That's a passion. But you start with what you're good at, right? Because when you think about what you're good at, and then when you're doing something that you're good at, ultimately, to me, that equals joy, right? To me, joy is that, like, when I do get on the phone with an investor, when I do have a new call, and I've probably talked to well over 100 of our investors just in the past 60 days. We're keeping a lot of powder dry. We're getting ready for some of these apartment buildings to implode, and we're ready when sellers are in distress to pounce on those, to be able to buy them or assume the loans, get new debt, raise the money, and absolutely jump on those. We had a property recently. We made an offer. We're actually awarded a deal at $12 million. Talked to the broker recently. He said, hey, would you guys buy this for $11 million? And I'm waiting for the day when we get the call that says, hey, how about $10.5 million? How about 10? Right? Because the prices are definitely going to go down. And so when I'm excited, I have a lot of joy when I meet with an investor. And this joy is something that is kind of a fleeting moment. It's a fleeting feeling. It's a moment of euphoria where I'm like, that was a great call. That guy's going to invest $250,000, add him to the short list of investors.
Are you ready to automate and explode your real estate investing? We're searching for extremely motivated individuals who are sick and tired of wasting time and want to finally see real results from their real estate investing business. We're searching for investors looking to get to the next level and become a bigger, better version of themselves while being a more successful real estate investing entrepreneur. Apply for mentoring and coaching at joshcantwellcoaching.com/podcast. That's joshcantwellcoaching.com/podcast.
And so I feel like when you're doing something that you're good at and you're trying to be great at it, that equals when you're really great at it and you're almost become elite at it and you're executing on that, that's joy, right? That equals joy. It's this happiness, this joy that I feel for a fleeting moment. Okay. Now, when I think about happiness, like, happiness is something that's the opposite of anger or sadness, right? And so to me, happiness is something that you feel for longer periods of time. Like, you go to a funeral, you're sad for maybe a couple hours or even a couple days or even a week. When my father passed away, I was sad for months. But also when I go to my mom's house and I spend time with my mother or spend time with my aunts and uncles, I get to spend time with them for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. That's really true happiness. Like, it's happiness that sticks. It lasts. It's there for a longer period of time. And so when you get to the point where you're doing something that you're really good at, you've moved into doing it really, really well or great, and then you hone that skill for years, and now you're elite at it, it produces joy, that fleeting moment, right? Now the question is, if you have a lot of financial assets, income, some stability, and a fair amount of personal freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, now you could spend more time doing things that truly make you happy, right? Things like maybe helping your kid, do some project that could take days or weeks to execute, right? And ultimately, a passion to me is something that you are now to the point where you're well off, time freedom, financial freedom, and now you can pour your efforts into something that does have zero financial reciprocity. It doesn't pay you anything. Okay. Could be speaking to college and high school kids about entrepreneurship. Like, that's a passion project when you are financially independent. But these interviews that I see on TV, these interviews I see on Facebook and Instagram and Reels, YouTube and TEDx talks and popular television, when an entrepreneur that has some significant independence, financial freedom, and time freedom, and they say, yeah, go follow your passion. That's such a crock. What they should say is, go do what you're good at. Go do what you're good at. Right? And so when I think about some of the scale and some of the success that I've had, and some of my buddies have had, and some of our other investors and some of the other operators that I know, the guys that are doing really well, that have stable portfolios, stable families, great marriages, stable relationships with their children, they're doing what they're good at. And the people around them understand and know what they're good at. That also means that they're willing to say what they're not good at. Okay? I'm not good at this, so don't ask me to do it. Somebody else is going to need to fill in and do things that I'm not good at. And if you're in a really, really good scenario, then you have business partners that will help you in business, that you have something that you're good at that's different and opposite of what they're good at. And they're filling in your holes and you're filling in theirs. Okay. And the same thing with the marriage, right? What are the things that you're good at that your spouse might not be good at? And respecting each other in a way, mutual respect, to know it's okay if he or she is not good at, you name it. Okay, like in my family, in my house with my wife, like, I'm the planner. I'm the one that plans our vacations and looks for trips and flights and places to go and places to stay, hotels, resorts, houses that we rent. I enjoy that. I'm good at it, right? I look at the schedule, and I'm really good at looking at the calendar and finding out when we can go and where we can go and how does it impact the kids' school. I'm good at it, right? And so it gives me, when I'm doing it, it gives me this fleeting joy of being able to do that for my family. It's not a passion for me. I'm not passionate about, sifting through flights and hotels and resorts and things like that, right? So if you really want to be successful in business with apartments or entrepreneurship, I would tell you to really reflect today on what you're good at, and even reflect today on what you're not. Focus on what you're good at. Over time, you'll go from good to great, and from great to elite. And elite will produce financial freedom, financial independence, time freedom, the reputation of being successful, all of that will come. You'll also know what you're not good at, right? And then be able to project to the world what you're not good at, which causes frustration for you, but maybe it's something what somebody else is really good at. And that becomes a perfect relationship, partnership with mutual respect about the fact that, hey, I'm not good at these things, but you are. And hey, I'm really good at these couple things. I've got this covered. I've got this swim lane absolutely covered. Do that. And at the end of the day, the financial independence, the time freedom, then you could focus on your passion projects, and the fun. Okay? Focus on what you're good at. That's what I'm here to tell you about today. Guys, listen, if you enjoyed this episode, this solocast, please rate, review, like, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and videos. Again, I'm always so grateful for that, for you guys to share that, give me some feedback, and thank you for that in advance. Secondly, two things for you. One is our mastermind, the Forever Passive Income Maverick Mastermind, which is a mastermind coaching and partnering program for intermediate to advanced investors. You can apply for that at joshcantwellcoaching.com. You have to qualify through an interview process. And once you're in that group, then you get to share best practices, share deals, partner with us on properties. It's fantastic stuff. And then secondly, if that's not yet for you, but you want to learn about multifamily investing, commercial multifamily, and building, a major portfolio that will help you with financial independence and time freedom, grab a ticket for our next live event. They're virtual live events. You can attend from home. You can attend from your cell phone, frankly. You can get a ticket, and very inexpensive, a couple $100 at foreverpassiveincome.com. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you next time.
You were just listening to the Accelerated Investor Podcast with Josh Cantwell. If you enjoyed this episode and learned something new, help us build the AI community by leaving a review and 5-star rating on our iTunes podcast channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. To see passive investing opportunities, visit freelandventures.com/passive. To start your journey toward the lifestyle you've always dreamed of with multifamily apartments, apply for one-on-one coaching with Josh at www.joshcantwellcoaching.com.